What's going on, everybody? This is Black Men Sundays. I'm your host, Corie Murray, and we're talking about generational wealth. We're talking about finance, and of course, we're talking about business.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate.
And before we introduce today's guest, my man Eric from Huntsville, Alabama, who do you have for our Black Men Sunday Spotlight, my brother?
Hey, thanks, Corie. For those who are new to our podcast, our job here is to always try to stimulate, motivate, and to educate. So with that being said, I like to pick some few gems of Black history, things that we don't know. Of course, we know we're taught in schools of the Booker T. Washingtons, the Harriet Tubmans, and the Martin Luther Kings. I have one brother that I want to share with you who I've come across today. Mr. William Washington Brown, what's special about him, he was the first Black man to have a bank, or a Black person married to have a bank. So the thing interesting about him, the safest bank of the Grand Fountain United Order of True Reformers, founded in 1988 by Reverend William Washington Brown, who was a former Georgia slave. Now, he's the first Black, he is what we can say has owned the first Black-owned bank in America. Now, on its opening day, the bank received deposits exceeding $1,269, making this an historic milestone. Now, Reverend William Washington Brown founded the bank to safeguard the financial interests of Black depositors, to provide a secure space where their finances wouldn't be monitored by whites. Now, during the 1893 economic depression, while other banks struggled, Brown's bank thrived. It not only survived the panic, but it was the sole Richmond bank to pay out the full value of customers to accounts and continue to operate seamlessly. That's my spotlight for today, Mr. Reverend William Washington Brown. Now, Corie, back to you.
FAMU Classic just finished up. Yeah, man. I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on that game?
It was a good game. I know you guys are heading to the SWAC championship, which is going to be played in Birmingham. Congrats to you. We can't win them all. This is our first time probably being in the SWAC championship. Provided that so we'll give you that for the first time. So we hope you do well. Much love to FAMU. I just support my HBCU. So anybody that's doing well, our job is to stimulate, motivate, and to educate. So, hey, my hat's off to the Rattlers. I hope y'all have a successful season. Well, you do have a successful season. I hope you have a successful win.
Yeah, definitely, man. And you know what? Where are my manners, man? Happy Thanksgiving. I know you grilling. I know you have some bomb fixings. I already know that turkey. You probably smoking a turkey, knowing you, man. How you cooking that turkey, man?
Man, I'm frying it this year. But I am also going to grill me I got some ribs cooking. I'm gonna smoke me a pork butt and some few chicken drumsticks. So hey, it's gonna be on and popping as always.
Pork what, man? I'm telling you, man.
Pork butt.
Man, I ain't never heard of that.
Rice.
Man.
You never heard of a pork butt?
Nah.
Man, I forgot you don't as Floridians, y'all don't know nothing about that.
But
y'all eat never mind. I'm gonna leave that comment to itself.
Yeah, we used to eating gators. We used to eating
gators.
Yeah,
y'all eat gators. We from the south. We from the south, man. We really eat down here. So
yeah, man. So before I let you go, man, since it's Thanksgiving, I've been having some issues with this question. So whenever I've gone to someone's house for Thanksgiving, especially if they're from like North Carolina South. So I'm talking about Alabama. I'm talking about South Carolina. For y'all non-geographic folks, but whenever I wanted some fixings, I would say, can I have some dressing on my stuffing? And everybody kind of looks like, some what? I'm like, yeah, can I have some dressing on my stuffing? What are we talking about here? So I'm just saying for you, Eric, you're in Alabama. If I'm at your house and I ask you for some dressing on my stuffing, what am I asking you for?
Man, you asking for a little, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a little new to me. I don't really put dressing on my stuff, and I just put stuffing on my plate. But that must be somewhere, maybe a New Orleans thing or somewhere else that's deeply rooted, a little bit southern than me. But to
Nah,
me,
but
it's
that's
the
not what
thing.
I'm saying. Hold up, but that ain't what I'm saying. Like when I say dressing, like what do you consider dressing?
Oh, all the food and stuff. You know, the way it
Nah,
looks,
see,
the
nah,
presentation of it.
nah, that's not what I'm
That's
saying.
not
Like
it.
I'm saying, no, I'm basically for people in the South that are like, what did he just say? Basically, I'm asking in Southern language, can I have some gravy on my dressing? See how I get confused? Because I'm talking about
Gravy on your
stuffing on.
dress. Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
what you was
see
talking about.
that, but it's the same thing, though. But I'm
Talking
saying, can
about
I have
gravy
some?
on his stuffing. That's what he's talking about. He wants some gravy on his stuffing, which is
Yeah,
Gravy on his
that's
stuffing.
yeah, that's like not cool in the South. Don't do that, man. That's disrespectful.
man,
You
I've
disrespect people's
learned.
stuffing.
I've learned
You
because
disrespect people's stuffing, man. You
yeah,
telling them
no,
you can't make no stuffing. That's what you're telling them.
nah, but here's what
Right.
happens though. Whenever I ask them that, they'll look at me crazy and they'll give me like two spoonfuls of stuffing. And I'm like, whoa. Because to them, dressing is the stuffing in the gravy. So anyway, let's go on and get back to it. All right. Let's go on and introduce today's guest. The reason why I wanted to start that way, because I heard this sister can cook. I mean, she's been married for 41 years, and I don't know nobody that's been married 41 years and they can't cook nothing. They call her Coach D. This sister is a national board certified health and wellness coach, 28 years as a licensed nurse. She's also the founder of Uniquely U Wellspace LLC. First off, Doretha Thomas-Anthony, welcome to Black Men Sundays and happy Thanksgiving. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm great. I'm very grateful to be here, Corie.
Definitely. We want to have this conversation, but our show's about generational wealth, finance, and business. So I want to just warm you up with our first question. So, how did you transition from being 28 years as a licensed nurse to being the founder of Uniquely U Wellspace LLC?
Well, a year ago, I would tell you that I was very happy in the job that I had as a wellness coach for a company that I was working for and really intended to be there until I retire. But some things changed with the company. And because I knew that I was very good at my job and I could coach people for sustainable change, and I was able to see the results of my coaching, I decided to embark on my own company. So that's kind of the driving force behind it. Never saw myself as a business person before. The idea came and I took off with it very quickly. So that's kind of how it came to be. Just making a decision that I didn't want to do what I did for someone else when I could do it for myself and help people and reach out to people on a different level.
Gotcha. Great information. And from a level of a lot of people that come on Black Men Sundays and a lot of listeners that email me, they say, I'm having some issues where they may want to start their business, but they've been financially afraid to, take that step. So financially, how were you able to set yourself up so that you weren't worried about jumping back in?
Well, I actually just used my basic income. We have pretty much worked all of our lives and we've saved money. So I just used my income to hire a branding company and use savings, some of my savings to do some of the things that I needed to do to start my business. Although I wasn't prepared to start a business for several years, I was in a financial situation where I could do it quite conveniently.
Definitely. And you're the founder of Uniquely U Wellspace LLC. First off, let's talk about that. What is that?
Uniquely U Wellspace is an opportunity for me to support people who want to make some changes in their life, meeting them wherever they are in their circumstances. It could be a mental health challenge, a physical health challenge, it could be an emotional health challenge. But I have also dedicated my business to helping caregivers because of my long-term experience with being a caregiver, not only just on the job, but in my personal life. I see the need for people to have support around that. So that's the basis of my company. And because I'm a licensed nurse and I have that experience, I'm also able to coach people who maybe just want to improve how they manage their diabetes, their high blood pressure, or some other type of comorbid disease.
And one thing we talk about on Black Men Sunday that we're doing more of, we talk about the wealth health conversation because I feel like the younger brothers and sisters, I'm not really worried about, I'm trying to stack the wealth up, I'm not really worried about the health. A lot of brothers are telling me they're not going to the doctor. So, from, being on the side where, you've been a caregiver most of your life, you've seen the from a young perspective, but then you've seen the other side, when, age kicks in. So for the young brothers and sisters that are listening that still are struggling with the health versus wealth conversation, what advice can you give?
Number one is preparation and conversation. Preparing and having those conversations with the people around you, whether it's your spouse, whether it's your parents, if you have a sibling that may need care, whatever it may be, you have to have those conversations, and you have to, it may even be uncomfortable. It may be uncomfortable to address those things. And when it comes down to the wealth part of it, it's about having those conversations to see if your family members are financially ready to take care of themselves in the event that they need that care. So, and that has to start early. We talk about putting money back for college tuition for our children. The same thing has to happen for your care later on in life. You may not need it, but what if you do? And most people will. We have millions of people who are depending on someone to take care of them right now in our country. And a lot of them were not financially prepared to have someone come in their home that they could pay. So they end up leaning on their children or sometimes other resources.
Definitely. And, I've seen situations where, the family may not have been able to have someone come to the house, or they may not have been able to, take that family member to a facility. So a lot of times they'll say, you know what, maybe, whoever's the lowest breadwinner, you just quit your job, take care of that. But, this Black Men's Sunday. So I want to talk about the challenges for Black men, right? Because a lot of times, like when you're faced to be a caregiver, it's not like you're prepared. A lot of times it hits you all of a sudden, but sometimes there is preparation. So for Black men, what can we do if we're in the situation where, okay, we're the one that we may need to get, let our job go to take care of the family member? Because the way I was raised, is family, job, and then everything else falls in place. It's not job, family. Actually, I'm saying that I'm all messing up. My mom gonna kill me, and it's Thanksgiving. No, it's God first, family, then job. But when you're in the situation to where, okay, you're going to be the caregiver, how can you financially prepare to take care of that loved one as a Black man?
Definitely. I see more and more Black men now taking care of their parents, and it can be very challenging because in most cases, they are not prepared. They haven't had those conversations. But if it were to happen, the first thing to do is to get advance directives. Find out from your loved one if there's no cognitive impairment that has started, then have those conversations. Mom, where do you want to be buried? Do you want to live out the rest of your life in the home? Would you be open to going to a facility? Having those conversations. Find out if they've put any money back to help take care of these things. I've heard of people, leaving their jobs to take care of their family members, but I think as we go forward, in order to really take care of our family, you have to take care of your own needs first. And that may not be giving up a job. In most cases, people at 65 and 70 years old may not be prepared to not have an income, sometimes late 60s or early 60s. People are working longer and they're living longer. So a person may not be able to give up their job in their 50s or early 60s to financially take care of a parent. I have that own personal journey myself. And although my dad has, a pretty good income with today's rates for staying in a facility and having someone take care of you day to day, it still wasn't enough. So that preparation really needs to start early. If you are a child of a parent and you think you may become a caregiver, it's okay for you to put back money that maybe you can help pay for a caregiver. It's nothing wrong with doing that as well. But I don't see a lot of people leaving their jobs. I don't see that as much. What I see people do is try to balance and juggle the caregiver role while they work, which can be quite difficult.
So let's talk about that, but let's say, we're in a situation to where is there support systems? How can someone find support?
Every state, every county has caregiver support groups. There's things like senior services. There's support groups for people who become caregivers. If your family member is in the hospital and you think they're going to have care, there's social workers as well that you can reach out to. They're very helpful. And those are the main places for finding support.
And definitely on Black Men Sundays, we've had guests that were big proprietors of investing in life insurance. So can investing in life insurance help aid you financially as a caregiver?
Life insurance is paid out when the person dies. So that may not help you during the process. Having some type of caregiver policy, and there are some out there, that can be very helpful. And the best person to ask about those things would be maybe your family attorney. They can be very helpful to help you with the right ones.
So I want to transition to the power of attorney. When
Okay.
when someone dies, what happens to the power of attorney?
So the power of attorney is no longer active after a person dies. So you need what they call a durable power of attorney. And the best thing for a person to have is a will, because then you can go to the will, find out what the person's wishes are, what they want, where they want to be placed after their death, that sort of thing.
Gotcha. And when you say durable power of attorney, are you referring to medical durable power of attorney, meaning that the person's no longer able to make decisions for themselves? Is that what that means? Just to clarify.
The durable power of attorney gives a person's access to the other person's finances as well as decisions. You can make any decision for that person. You can go to the bank and take out a loan in that person's name. You can make all kinds of decisions. But the good thing about having a durable power of attorney is you can help your loved one manage their finances without them having the strain of having to do that maybe after they're no longer able to do that as well as they were before.
Okay, and I kind of want to backtrack a little bit because I feel like my grandma gonna slap me when I ask you this, and a lot of grandmas gonna slap me when I ask you this question. But I'm tired of going through this. So I feel like in my family, like we don't know health history. We find out health history when that person is dead. Like it's like, or when they get sick and they're in the hospital and they're calling you on your job. Hey, you need to leave now. I'm not going to tell you what's going on. Just come to the hospital. Like, and then you find the health history. So I feel like as Black people, though, and some families, I'll give them credit. Some families do, hey, don't drink all that Hennessy, don't drink all that brown. Our families got a lot of people got diabetes, got sugar now. You need to slow it down, eating all that them ho-hos and candies, But if you're in the dark, because we talk about generational wealth, but generational health is part of the game too, right?
Absolutely.
So how can we as Black people change the framework of the generational makeup as far as being more admittance of your health history versus saying we're going to keep it a secret until it's too late?
So it's too late. Again, conversation. I knew, for me personally, I knew all about my mom's and dad's health history because I was a nurse. I was interested. And because I was a nurse, I asked questions. But it's a good idea to ask those questions to your mom and dad. Mom, do you have high blood pressure? Do you have diabetes? What kind of medicines are you on? And who is your doctor? Just as simple as knowing who is their doctor and them actually signing forms at their doctor's office so that you can have direct contact with their doctors. That's another good thing, because if something happens, that doctor can't tell you anything without their permission. And let's say that they're not able to talk. So I encourage people to, have those conversations with your loved ones, finding out. And a good time is Thanksgiving, around the Thanksgiving table, maybe during dessert. I don't know. But it's very, very important to have these conversations, to find out health history. What did my grandparents die of? What caused their death? Um, what type of things did your aunt and uncles die of, or what type of illnesses do they suffer from? Having those conversations. And I do think it's easier now. I think people are a little bit more educated about knowing the importance of this, so I do see it more. But just having all those things in place, the advanced directives, the healthcare power of attorney, is an opportunity for you to speak on this person's behalf if they cannot speak for themselves. But those things have to be done and notarized. Knowing if a person wants to be put on life support. Life support can really eat away at your finances. So you may have money in the bank that you want to give to your grandchildren, but if you end up on life support, that may not happen. So, and some people want that at age 60, but when they're 85, they may not care about having all those measures taken in case they are in need of life support. So having those conversations, updating those conversations, and then keeping those conversations going is key.
But you mentioned life support finances. I was going to ask you about caregiving expenses, but because we talk about, stock market investing, we talk about 401ks, Roth 401ks, but we don't talk about the caregiving, the health finances. So just, let's just talk numbers for a little bit, like life support finances. Like how much are we talking about here?
The average day cost for a life support bed is probably $25,000, $30,000 a day on average. Okay. Now you may have insurance. You probably have Medicare insurance. You may have some type of supplemental insurance, but 20% of that usually ends up back on the person to pay. If that person stays on life support for a substantial amount of time and then they do pass away, that bill sometimes can be taken against the estate. Hospitals do that. They'll file a claim against the estate. So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with life support if that's what a person wants. But, if my children were to ask me at 55, do I want life support? Yeah, I absolutely do. But at 85, I may not care about that. So again, and I hate to be so repetitive here, but it truly is about continuing those conversations and updating them as time goes on, because things do change.
Let's talk about caregiving expenses. So I'm a Black man. I need to take care of an aunt, grandparent, or something. What type of expenses will I have?
So let's say you have someone in your home and they want to stay, your mother. Let's say your mother lives in her home and she needs a caregiver. And lots of times these things happen through a doctor. A doctor will assess the situation. Safety is number one. So if your mom starts to be unsafe in her home, she's falling, she's having accidents, she's burning food on the stove, she's hurt herself. When those things start to happen, then the doctor will say this person needs 24-hour care. And when that happens, that could cost you anywhere from $25 to $30 an hour.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
I'm gonna pass the mic to my man Kalali.
Wow, I do. So I do want to. First of all, I want to thank you for spending some time with us on Sunday. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to take it back even more basic than what we've been talking about so far. Like, so I'm 44 years old, right? And I hate to say it, but I didn't actually get like a primary care physician until I was like 3-4 years ago. You know? So, and I find like a lot of brothers are in the same position, even my age, that don't have primary care physicians and stuff like that. So what would you say is like the prime age that you should really be looking to get a primary care physician? And then, what should you do with that primary care physician?
So once a person ages out to a primary care physician is usually 18, because most of the time you'd have a pediatrician until you're 18, sometimes 21. Some doctors will hold on to their patients till they're 21. So surely by 21, you should have your own primary care physician. You should also be seeing your primary care physician at least once to twice a year. If you have no medical issues that you're managing with medication, once or twice a year is fine. As men get into their 30s now, there are prostate issues, especially with Black men. They do happen as young as 30 years old. High blood pressure, high cholesterol is another that happens a lot in age 30s. But what I would say to anyone is don't expect your doctor to take care of you. You have to take care and advocate for yourself. And by doing that, it means, okay, it's June. I haven't had a physical this year. I had one last June. It's time for me to call my doctor. The best thing to do is to schedule those maybe on your birthday month. You know, every year, if you're born in November, every year in November, I'm going to have my physical with my doctor. And they can check your blood pressure. They can check your cholesterol. They can screen you for certain things. Even testicular cancer is very prominent in Black men. It's not something that's talked about a lot, but it's very prominent. But if your parents have any type of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, those type of things, getting to that doctor once a year or every 6 months to be screened is paramount.
There's a lot of brothers. I know brothers like this. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of brothers out there that like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, don't even have like health insurance. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So, you know, because especially now, so like we're in an interesting time period right now where it's like we're, you know, and I feel like the Black community is feeling this more right now because oftentimes we feel like the worst brunt of social changes before everybody else. So I feel like the Black community is feeling this more. What I'm talking about is like we're kind of in a stage of transition where you've got like a lot of people who are employed, and traditionally healthcare comes from your employment system.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a lot of people who are like freelancing. You know what I mean? Like they might be working for Uber, but Uber is not an employer the way you think of Uber as an employer. Uber is like a contractor. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So essentially, you're a self-employed driver who happens to contract with Uber, which means they're not responsible for your health care. So then health insurance gets unanswered. So and then we look at it, okay, well, I'm making this amount of money. Now they're saying, even with Obamacare, they're saying I got to pay this amount of money, whatever that amount of money might be, you know what I mean, to get my health insurance. And people are deciding that instead of getting their health insurance because of inflation or whatever else, they're going to use that money, you know, to pay bills or things like that. So could you talk to us a little bit about like the benefits of having health insurance and like how the money that you pay in health insurance might benefit in the long run?
Mm-hmm. Well, you think about it. You can't afford not to have it. Okay. If you end up in a hospital without health insurance, $10,000 a day is about the average cost for a bed in the hospital per day. That's for any type of disease management. Now, if it's something more serious, maybe dialysis, maybe cancer treatment, something like that, then the cost just goes up. So what people need to understand is you can't afford not to have it. It may seem like, oh, okay, I'm paying out $100 and some a month for this insurance, but I only see my doctor twice a year. And you might think, well, but that's $1,200. It could be $1,200 a year, and that $1,200 a year and that screening could save your life. So there used to be a time where you couldn't get health insurance unless you had a job. That's not the case now. And you can advocate for your own health insurance by going to all these different health plans online. You can go to Aetna. You can reach out to Humana. You can reach out to Blue Cross Blue Shield on your own. You don't have to have a employer to do that. And by doing that, I mean, it's kind of like having insurance on your car. Okay. Now, in your state, it might be mandatory, but would you truly drive around in a car with no insurance, knowing that if someone hits you or if you hit someone, then you're going to have to pay for that? So, and your health is number one. Your health is your wealth. Because if you don't have good health, it doesn't really matter how much money you have. So, and money can be wiped out very quickly if your health takes a negative hit. So I would say you can't afford not to have it.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah. I know and Corie can back me up on this one. We had a guest that came on here and said, yeah, he told us, he was like, having $1 million in the bank is great. It's better than having $1 million, being healthy enough to get out there and spend that money.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely.
You talked well, actually, let me transition a little bit. So we you talked about what you've done personally in terms of business. Like, you were working for somebody and then you moved into your own business. Now you're working for yourself. So could you talk to us a little bit about, like, what might be the difference in the mentality between working for, having I guess we call it traditional job, like working for somebody, and then now being self-employed and working for yourself? Like, what were there any changes you had to make in your mentality, how you approach your work?
Well, I realized that I have to be very patient. You have to market yourself. You have to be comfortable doing things just like what I'm doing now, being on video, talking to people, showing up, talking to people, telling them about what I do, and just being able to tell them how passionate I am about what I do. So I think that's the part that, of course, I've never had to do before. I showed up for a job before and I always did my job well and I got paid. It was pretty simple. But this is different. I have to be very patient. I have to market. I have to learn when people say no, that doesn't mean no for me. It just means no for them. So I've come to accept that. I've learned that quite well, quite easily in the early parts of doing business and trying to get people to connect with me and send me referrals for people to coach. I had to learn that doesn't mean no for me. It just means no for them. So that's my perspective. At my age, I've seen and learned and done and experienced a lot of things. So that has just made me ready for having a business. I feel like I'm more ready than I ever have been. And people would say, well, gosh, why didn't you start a business years ago? Years ago, I wasn't ready, but I feel more ready to do that than I ever have been.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, just thank you. I appreciate everything you said. For myself, I don't always pay attention to my health because I have 2 kids. I got them, and I'm always working. I'm always putting, stuff that I need to do for work ahead of it. So this is good just to reiterate to me, because at the same time, like I said, I have 2 kids. I want to be around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To see them grow. So like, this really it's just a good reminder for me and reiterate to me, that I need to be focusing on my health, not only, just in my life, but also when I'm sitting down and planning financially, I need to be having a health plan and health strategy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's one way for you to be there for your future, for your children, so you can see them grow and learn and aspire to be who they want to be, is by taking care of yourself first. Self-care is number one. If you don't take care of you, no one else will.
Yeah, yeah. And see, that's how I feel. I feel like, so the interesting thing is, because me and Corie talk about this a lot. Like, the interesting thing is, when I look around, I see Black women doing so much, like advancing so far. Like, you got your own business. I know a lot of Black women who have their own businesses. Like even my colleagues at work. Okay, I got to, Corie talk about, all the time. Like, if you go listen to some other shows, how I got a master's degree in public policy. I have 1 graduate degree. A lot of the women I know that sit beside me or work with me that are Black women, they have 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? They have, like my wife got like 2, 3 advanced degrees. Like, so I guess this is just one to tip my hat to Black women and say, that's great. But another way that it seems like Black women are ahead of us as Black men, or as just men in general, is y'all have started actually focusing on self-care as a value. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think it's time for us as Black men to kind of take a little step back, along with, trying to pick up everything else that we're doing, kind of take a step back and say, hey, we need to focus on a little bit of self-care too.
Right.
Develop language and how we can, get that message across. So again, really appreciate you, everything you said. What I'm gonna take away from this is health is wealth. That's what I'm gonna take away.
Well, I would say too, is when it comes to Black women, we didn't have much of a choice. We've always been looked at, and when we show up, it's how we are looked at that's going to matter. So we kind of had to start there. And then, when we have children and we want to be around for our children, just like I'm telling you, you want to be around for your kids, we take care of ourselves so we can take care of them and our husbands and that sort of thing, and our parents, whatever the case may be. So health is wealth. Absolutely.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Aunt Dro.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to first say a comment that I am super proud of you, Aunt Doe, for what you're doing. You're like my second mother, and you are the best outside of my mother, the best cook on this planet. She can throw down. I'm telling you, that woman, if you ever get her cooking, it's amazing. Also, I wanted to say that to piggyback off what you were talking about, we had a conversation back in July, and I called you with a medical issue, but I didn't think it was that serious. I was like, I think I'm fine. I'm gonna be okay. She was like, no, go to the doctor and get checked out. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And when I did that, I winded up in the ICU for 4 days. So it was something actually serious. And thank God I had health insurance because it was very, very expensive. But in my mind, again, I do have regular checkups. I am a female. So, I definitely go to the doctor once, maybe even twice a year. But in this instant, I thought I would be okay. And I was like, well, let me just listen to my aunt. She is a nurse. She knows what she's talking about. But that actually saved my life. And I really appreciate that. We do start our season 2 for our podcast. I'm going to have you come on the show in January. So I haven't forgot about you. So I'm definitely going to put you on with me in the latest for the compilations of banter. So, but I'm super proud of you. And thank you for that again back in July and all that you do, because you're an amazing woman. I'm super proud of you. You're my favorite aunt, and I love you to death. So congrats.
Thank you. And I will say that this will be Dr. Chrissy Webster in a few months. So she's working on her PhD. I'm very proud of her. I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I'm very proud of all of them. They're very supportive.
See what I'm saying? Y'all be doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to kind of piggyback. We talked about the medical responsibility of everything, but I want to kind of piggyback off of when you talk about the financial responsibilities of having a will. I like to throw in that not only is it important to have a will, but we should also look at maybe having a trust set up as well.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Because a trust, for those who know about a trust gives us immediate control over the provisions of the real estate or any kind of property that you have. Because again, when your loved one passes away passes away, it goes into probate. And probate can take, whatever. And like you said, if you have household expenses and different things that the previous person that died, all that would go towards that. And you really would end up with much nothing. So I just wanted to, again, just kind of piggyback off what you were saying about making sure we set up trust, that's some kind of form of control for that as well.
Right.
But everything you're saying, is spot on about making sure you get checked out, health insurance and everything. I'm glad we have this format that we can educate others about the importance of having these things.
Yes, absolutely. And I think for our Black community, it's so vitally important because honestly, as a nurse, the worst case scenarios that I have seen in my field as a nurse, a lot of times were our other Black people. And we are getting more educated. The trust thing, like you were talking about, is something that people are talking about a lot more. And we've learned more about that. So definitely a trust, but if you don't do a trust, definitely have a will. But absolutely a trust is the best way to go, because then you can bypass probate court. And I think it actually saves you money in the long run. And we definitely need to do that any way that we possibly can.
This is Tanisha in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just want to say that this is an awesome topic, and I'm glad that you have this on your podcast and can share with others, because it's a conversation I don't think a lot of Black people have, and it's important to have this discussion. And it's uncomfortable. You don't really want to talk about your parents or dying or anything like that, but it's something that needs to be discussed, because I've seen with my own grandparents the expenses and how that goes. And also when you've got multiple siblings, one sibling doesn't always agree with the other one, and so the power of attorney and all that needs to be in place, because sometimes they have disagreements and they may not follow through with what the parent wanted. So I think all of that stuff is important, and it's a great conversation to have with your family.
Absolutely.
So thank you for all that information.
Yeah, great information. Great information. And my man Kalala, you talking about sisters with degrees. The sister from Charlotte, how many degrees do you have?
I have 2 master's degrees, one in communication and one in marketing.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. I've been looking around, and I'm like, I thought I was, doing it with my little 1 master's degree. I'm like, I need to go back and get some more certifications and some more degrees, because right now, what I'm saying, these sisters is outpacing us. But we also understand that, they got to show up 3 times as hard to get, the same treatment. So, but
Absolutely.
but I maybe I don't say it enough, so maybe this is an opportunity for me to say it on a public platform. Definitely hats off to Black sisters for
Thank you.
achieving and overachieving.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess
real quick, I'm sorry, Chrissy from Greensboro, North Carolina. I forgot to introduce that part of it. Do you have a certain insurance that you recommend for people in general, just any type, just like a number one?
I think being insured is better than no insurance at all. I think Blue Cross Blue Shield does a great job, especially with the older adults. I've seen that with my own experiences with my dad and my mom. Their insurance paid very well. They go to the doctors. Their regular doctor's appointments was like maybe $20 out of pocket, which I thought was very inexpensive. So I think Blue Cross does, and Blue Shield does really well here in North Carolina. But I think being insured is better than no insurance at all.
so anyway, I want to jump back in though, but I kind of want to jump on the entrepreneurial side of things, because the brother we had on a week ago, he said, he tells people, okay, you want to quit your job, be an entrepreneur. How many hours you trying to work? They were saying, I'm trying to work from like 9 to 12. He's like, nah, you mean like 9 a.m. to midnight. So what kind of schedule you work?
For me, my ideal schedule is Monday through Thursday. I don't mind being available to coach people after 5 p.m., but I would limit that to make sure that I am able to care for myself and do the things that I do that fill in that time. So, but my ideal hours are Monday through Thursday from 9 to 4. Again, like I said, I don't mind telling you, I just turned 63 years old. So what I do now, I want to do it at a level that feeds me. And I don't mean feeds me food. I'm talking about, just feeds my soul. It gives me the opportunity to truly, truly support people, be there for them, see them grow, see them make sustainable changes that can help them to improve their life. That's what's important to me. So 9 to 4 is the best time for me, Monday through Thursday. I'm doing it on a more mature level. If I was 10 years younger, I'd probably do 6 days a week, just to be available 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. But at this point in my life, that's the best hours for me.
Yeah, I got you. You're working on that mature level, but I get it too. I kind of get that double entendre because that mature mean that mature financial as well to be able to do it
Right.
9 to 4 for Monday through Thursday as well.
Right.
So definitely. So before I let you get out of here, you enjoying yourself on Black Men Sundays?
Black Men Sundays is awesome. I'll be spreading the word. I have 2 sons and a wonderful husband, and I'm going to encourage them to listen and follow with Black Men Sundays. I think it's a great opportunity for them to learn something and to see Black men at work doing very good things that's going to
Definitely.
help people. Yeah, that's what we need more of in the world, whether it's coming from you or any of the people who work with you. I think you're doing a great job.
Definitely. Thank you. And it's Thanksgiving. So I was going to say, what's on your plate? I heard you can cook, you know, sister from
Her
sister.
famous yeast rolls. She makes the best yeast rolls in the
Oh my
world. I
God.
can comment. That is her
Absolutely.
signature.
See, now they want to see Corie. Now they want to talk. You see that?
Yeah,
We
Now
talk
they
about
do.
food. I mean,
Of course, everyone
Now
wants
they
to
have
talk about
something to
food.
say.
Yeah. I heard him come on. Yeah,
Mhm.
I was saying
food
everybody
talk
wants to talk
started
about
now.
food, of course.
Yeah.
And I've taught them how to cook. My son, who's on with us today, cooks very, very well. A lot of people enjoy his cooking as much as they do mine, and they look forward to it. For me, it's just me and my husband this year, but we are going to smoke a turkey on our Kamado grill and have a few sides, not too many things, since it's just the 2 of us. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Hey, Eric, why are you looking like that when she said smoking? I seen Eric kind of like, yeah, the South standard, like, yeah, the South got something to say.
Smoking. Are you a smoker too, Eric?
But yeah, no, I love to smoke. Actually, right now, believe it or not, I'm smoking some ribs as we speak.
Oh,
So
right.
I'm they about to come off the grill. I got them all wrapped up. I have to put some little sauce on them and let them kind of get that good glaze on them, put them back on the grill for a little
Wow.
while longer. And
Wow.
they falling off the bone, ready to eat.
Wow. Sounds
So
good.
I'm a smoker. I'm a griller too. So
Yeah.
I like
Sounds
I like
good.
to cook.
Yeah. Sounds
Mhm.
great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. But the mic kind of got overtaken, but I'm just saying, like, it's Thanksgiving. I'm gonna call you Auntie Doretha. I'm in Florida. If I was in New York, I'd be like Aunt Doretha, but I'm in Florida. Auntie Doretha, what's gonna
Mhm.
be on your plate for Thanksgiving?
Well, we're looking at smoked turkey. I'll make some homemade bread. We'll probably have greens and sweet potatoes, and there'll have to be dressing with gravy. You just can't do Thanksgiving without dressing. So that's probably going to do it for me, and maybe a dessert. I haven't decided what yet.
I want to thank Mrs. Doretha Thomas-Anthony. 41 years of marriage. I'm still like looking at that, like, wow, that is awesome. Because me and Kalali the same age. I ain't put my age on here, even though you can see the grades coming in. I'm kind of struggling with it.
He
It's a
said
little
what
salt and
the
pepper
age
struggling,
up.
man. Even though you're like like a month older than me. So
Yeah, it
definitely.
ain't a month. I'm like 2 weeks older than you.
Oh man, hey,
2
whatever,
weeks.
man. Anyway.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's another podcast. If you want to have me back to talk about 41 years of marriage, I'm happy to come.
oh, definitely. We can do that. We can do that. And before I let you go, Dr. Chrissy, so did you say you have a podcast?
I do. It's called The Compilations of Bant Her. So it focuses on a lot of her type topics: hate her, love her, please her, etc. We start in season 2 in January. I know it's the holidays, so it's 4 ladies, and we're trying to start with him in January. So it'll be hate him, love him, please him, etc. So it's not like you think when you're thinking of the topics. We change things up quite a bit. We make it funny and entertaining. My aunt has definitely listened to it multiple times. We're going to have her on there with self-care. We are trying to get some special guests, some men on there. But yes, I love doing it. I love speaking my voice. I'm starting to, I guess, open up a little bit more on that. But we definitely would love you guys to come on if you would like. I know my aunt has my information, so if you want to get that from her, we would greatly appreciate that. So yeah. Get
Well, I
y'all's
mean,
opinion. Now, you have to be honest. You have to be very blunt because that's what we like. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'll just tell you, have your publicist contact us because we on that
Oh.
publicist stage kind of level. But I was going to say
Okay.
too, but see, here's the thing too, as Black men, right? We're not
Mhm.
competing with you. We about to collaborate. See, that's the problem.
Absolutely.
So we're not at the bottom,
Absolutely.
you know, like we're trying to climb the ladder to success, escalator style. So we're
Absolutely.
not
I'll take
competing, we
that.
collaborating. But anyway, spell the name of your podcast. Spell it for me.
The compilations of banter. So that's BANTHER.
Okay, yes, I wanted you to clarify that because people are gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, I couldn't find it." And so,
Compilations, yep, of banter. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
definitely.
Please check us out. We're on every platform, Spotify, iHeartRadio, etc. So yeah, check us out.
Okay, yeah, I see she ready. I'm just mad I'm just mad she a podcaster and don't have a mic though, but it's all good though.
I'm at home.
I am
and
too.
I got the text message and I was about to go get some dinner and I was like, you know what? Let me wait. Let me support my aunt. This is more important. My stomach can growl a little bit longer. It's okay. I'm okay with that.
Oh, that's what that noise was. I kept hitting mute. I'm like, oh, I'm
It was
hitting mute
probably
on
my
Eric, not
stomach.
realizing it's you, Lord.
It's probably my stomach. I ain't gonna lie. You got my
Definitely.
cousin on there too, Tanisha. Hi, Tanisha.
Hi, love. It's Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. That's right.
That's right.
From Clemens, North Carolina.
Yes.
Thanks for coming on Black Men Sundays. Thanks for blessing the stage. Enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving, Coach D. I'm gonna call you Auntie Doretha. And we definitely gonna have you back because I mean, you know, married 41 years, right? We talk about generational wealth. Guess what? Isn't marriage? I think that's an investment as well. So let's have that conversation. Matter of fact, I'm gonna book you in 2024. I already have your headshot. We good to go. That's right.
Be here. Thank you, Corie.
Thank you, Mrs. Doretha Thomas. Many blessings. Happy Thanksgiving. And thanks for coming on Black Men Sunday, sister. And enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Enjoy the rest of the year.
Thank you. God bless you all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
It's a Black Man Sunday.